Alrighty, I'm showing 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. And we'll stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, first item on the agenda is approval of August minutes and September claim docket. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those documents.
I have reviewed the August minutes and the September claim dockets, and I make a motion that we accept them as they are.
Okay, I got a first motion.
I'll second.
Got a second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're going to skip forward in our agenda and move forward to oath of office for Don Daly, our newest appointed town council member. Don, step forward and accept your punishment. I mean, your appointment.
You want to just read, or you want me to do it like that? Okay. I, Don Daly, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially, and diligently discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of Clayton Town Council member
of Clayton Town Council member
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
Way to go.
All right.
You can sign it right here. Okay, thank you. Now, you can go sit up.
Yeah.
You need to get approved.
Thank you, Don, for accepting the call to fill this vacancy that we've had and for giving your time and skills to our town council and to the town.
And I'm sure we'll get you a better name tag than that one.
And if you don't like it, down there,
You can decorate that one though. Ours you can't decorate
Yeah.
customize. All right. Moving on to our previous item on the agenda that I skipped, public hearing on the 2024 budget. I will close our regular business meeting and open our public hearing on the budget. Any comments from town council members on our 2024 budget that Jenny prepared for us? Okay, any public comments from the public that's here that wants to talk about our 2024 budget? Okay, we will put that on the record of no public comments for our public hearing for the budget. And I will close our public hearing and return to our regular scheduled business meeting for the town of Clayton. Now that we've had our public hearing, do we have to wait till October to
It'll
vote?
be passed in October, at the October meeting.
Okay, that's right. So you have until the October meeting for us to vote on this. If something else, other questions, comments, you want to come look over this budget in more detail, it is available over the next month. All right.
Pretty much. All this has been advertised.
Next item on the agenda, state mandate concerning number of police reserve officers. A couple months ago, we were looking at this issue on the newest state law, talking about our reserve officers. I did talk to our insurance carrier, and they do change the premiums based on the number of reserves. But then also when I look into that, and this is we're gonna fall back on to Graham's expertise. Maybe he has to do a little bit more research, I guess. When I looked at this state law, I found two different interpretations of it. The website I used to look at Indiana code, that wording says a town council may implement an ordinance depicting this, and then another website, which was a law firm's interpretation of that, said a town council shall mandate this number. So I didn't know what the official law was supposed to be. If you could, look at that reserve officer mandate for us and let us know what the mandate is. Now, I did talk to the insurance representative more extensively about this, and no matter what we put in our ordinance, so we could put an ordinance and say 20 reserve officers. They're not going to charge us for 20 reserve officers unless that's what you actually have on your roster. So what our concern was is that if we put 20, they're going to charge us for that. And they said they will not. They will charge us based on what you submit each year as these are the number of reserve officers I have on our roster, regardless of what we put in this ordinance. So, if that helps any at all, if we needed a
Two from the Indiana Law Enforcement Academies who reached out to me.
Okay.
With that, so I can send you that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's the staff attorney out there.
All right, so we'll table that for another month until we can get clarification on that part of it. And then we also brought up DORA, designated outdoor recreation area. And AIM is in the process of kind of defining this a little bit better, so I was kind of waiting on them to give me some direction on how they interpret this, just to make sure that we're not going. A lot of the municipalities that I saw talking about this on the municipality network were not interested in doing this at all. So we had some interest in it just in case we had some downtown events like the car show or other things that we've had recently, and then had people participating in that with their adult beverages and stuff. So, but I thought we'd wait until AIM gave us more direction, unless anybody else had any input on that from town council members. Okay. And then next on the item on the agenda, quotes for work at the fire department building. So Pete, you were going to look into a couple of things for us on that furnace and other repairs that were looked at.
I spoke to Mr. Klontz.
Okay.
His response was that he's been asked every year for the last 17 years to replace the furnace. He said there's nothing wrong with the furnace, it's the air conditioner. And the only way to fix it is a bigger furnace for more capacity. And we both agreed, being as how we're getting into the fall of the year, we got some more breathing room as far as replacing it. But he figures the furnace is okay for the winter.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? He said to fix the air conditioning problem, he'd have to replace both for the capacity.
All right. That clear as mud, all right?
Well,
I mean, I don't know how those
No, in
kinds of
other
things
words,
work,
it's-
but
The cooling's not doing a good job, but the heat, yeah.
It is not. It
The
is
heat
not
is,
working
yeah.
properly.
So do we know, are they staying there at the fire department? Have we heard what they're,
all the information I've been given by Chief Russell and the township trustee is that they do not have any plans of vacating that building. All right, so we will see how it works out through the winter, but keep that in mind for especially next spring and what we need to do to fix that unit for them to have a comfortable living space over there at the fire department. Any other questions or thoughts on furnace air conditioning at the fire department? Okay. All right. Oh, go ahead.
Did, Tuesday, a week ago Tuesday, I think it was, there was a Liberty Township,
Meeting.
meeting. Was there any discussion there or any information given out about use of the fire department here, the building?
No, they pretty much they covered the fire department being transitioned over from their 501c3 group to a township government-run fire department. They talked about the budget and how they've adjusted things to have a budget that they could pay 3 individuals to be on station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including 1 paramedic. So they got their ALS status back.
Okay.
They talked about they're getting a refurbished fire engine, right? A refurbished fire engine that should be here in 18 months, something like that. So,
But no change in status here?
No
as-
change
as you know,
in-
right?
right,
Okay.
yeah. They talked about wanting to do renovations to the Hazelwood station, but they hadn't finalized a contract with the Hazelwood Community Center, so they didn't know what they were gonna do with that part. But
Okay.
as far as that meeting, it was really pretty much just an update on, how they've adjusted the township budget to support paying personnel, buying some equipment that they needed and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, next item on the agenda is we are going to have another public hearing on vacating the alley, which right now it's technically the eastern edge of Michigan Road on the other side of Ohio Street. So, and it has been used for the last several years. 41 years as Mr. Skirvin's driveway, and he's paved it, maintained it, those kinds of things. So he's asking the town to vacate that section of Pennsylvania Street and turn that property over to him. So I'm going to close our town's business meeting again and open a public hearing for that. And then let Pete, you can address the application, and then anybody else that wants to talk on it can.
Ronnie has filled it out properly and everything, and I have a letter from Mr. Hoffman where he has signed it, dated 7/28/23, that his half can go to Ron.
Mr. Hoffman has got the adjacent property
Yes.
on the other side of the street from
Yeah.
the other side of this section of Pennsylvania from Mr. Skirvin.
Yeah.
Okay. And staff from the town, which is our town manager and our wastewater treatment plant, because there is a sewer pipe underneath that section of Pennsylvania Street. So we have no objections from staff.
No.
We still have the easement, right? I mean, it's still, we're not vacating the easement, right?
No.
Correct. We're gonna continue
Right.
having the easement as the town's, because since the town's equipment is underneath that road, and Mr. Skirvin has acknowledged that in his application.
Yes, we're good.
Okay, any other public comments? Mr. Skirvin, do you want to add anything to the, okay?
Just glad to have it over with.
Okay. And I don't see any other hands up for public comment. All right, we will close public comment and go back to our regular business meeting for the town council. so we
Need
can
to
vote,
on that?
we can vote on this.
Yeah.
We'll have to create if the vote is in favor of vacating, we'll have to create an ordinance for that, yeah. Any questions from the town council on this application to vacate Pennsylvania Street from Ohio to his garage door, east of Ohio? All right. I need a motion.
I make a motion that we vacate the alley for Mr. Skirvin.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Motion carried. We will create an ordinance vacating that and then turn it into the county recorder's office to make that official. All right. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan. We have spent quite a bit of this money. We have about $3,089.70 left in that account. So the question for us as a town council is, what are we going to spend that money on?
What can we spend it on? Is there things that we can't use it for?
Yes, we cannot use it to alleviate tax burden on anybody. We cannot use it for what were the other Treasury Department rules on that one now, but we used it to buy the police department their Tahoe. We used it to buy park equipment. And so biggest thing the Treasury Department, had in their description is infrastructure and high speed internet. They really wanted us to spend it on that. But I didn't see a whole lot of people going, yeah, we definitely need high speed internet here. Some of the other towns I know used it for essential personnel. You can use it for like giving bonuses to personnel who worked through COVID or other essential personnel, police, fire, that kind of stuff, to give them money for salary, kind of as a boost for the fact that they worked as essential personnel, worked during the pandemic, kind of thing.
Is this one of those funds you can't carry over either?
Correct. It has to be all spent by December 31st, 2025.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of time left, but there is an end point, and the Treasury Department
Yeah.
will happily take back any money we don't spend. So,
I have a suggestion.
okay, Pete.
I think it's been 2 meetings ago, I was talking about a fountain for the pond.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed about the algae and how to fix that. I believe if we aerate it, that would help it. And I called Tony, we discussed dredging it out. He said a minimum $20,000 to dredge that pond. So we can buy an aerator for $2,374. Put lights on it for change lights. Duke Energy, I done got a hold of them. They'll wire it from the pole. From the pole is on us to the pond, and it's on a floating device. So as the water goes down, it'll go down, and go up as it goes up. That's just a suggestion. And these are the 2 fountains. Don't count the amount of paper only made one for each.
Yeah, I remember you bringing up the aerator part. Now, with an aerator, the thought process would be that we no longer have to worry about dredging it because of doing an aerator.
Well, what the dredging part was, we was talking about it cool the water off more, right? The deeper you go, the cooler the water, the less algae. So I'm assuming if we aerate the water, that'll pretty much take care of the algae.
All right, any thoughts from town council members?
Is,
I think
is
it'd
there
be-
money in the budget that would cover something like this?
Yeah.
Or,
You mean the 20,000?
no, the,
Just the aerator,
this aerator?
There's money in the budget outside of the,
like our
Well-
parks. I don't know, do we consider Stevens Barn part of our park, or do we
We,
not?
all the money that's paying for the, pond treatments is coming out of the edit fund, which is the park.
Park,
fund. Yes.
park money? And the edit fund, did they just recently change the name of the edit fund to a
Credit thing, that's me.
county edit or something like that, or?
It's always the county option income tax.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if, I just noticed on the docket, claim docket, that there was a different name on there, but I didn't know if they changed that.
Keeping you on your toes.
Right.
And if there's any money left over from that,
Yeah.
the little shed down there could really use a paint job. It's starting to get pretty bad shape.
Oh, the little storage building?
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep the lawnmower in and everything.
Yeah. I noticed that floor's starting to get kinda,
Yeah, it's got two soft spots in it.
yeah. Well, as far as cooling that pond, I'll call them or go down and see them there in Monrovia where they put in, little waterfalls and fish ponds for everybody. Cause they've got fountains and stuff, and talk to that guy and see if that would help cool it.
Yeah.
doesn't have a place for the IGA?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's not an IGA.
Are you still considering the, part with the barley straw bales along the bank as well, or?
I think if we had it aerated, we wouldn't have to mess with that, and the
Yeah.
problem with the barley straw, the way the water's going up and down right now, you'd have to move it every time it does that. If, you know, if you got it high and then drops a foot, you gotta go out and move all that down.
Sure.
Each time it does that. So,
We don't have that in the budget. If I'm seeing this right, pond treatment is $1,000. So we wouldn't have,
Well, but they're talking about using the rest of the ARPA money that we have left over to buy it.
Yeah.
We have $3,000.
To buy the-
that we
Right.
have to get rid of.
Fountain.
yeah, my question was, did we have that $3,000 in the budget that we could use out of the budget? But it doesn't look like we do. So we would have to use the ARPA for that.
And do we still keep the treatments going even after the?
I would say if it works, you probably shouldn't have to. Because you're getting, what you're doing, you're oxygenating the water.
Right.
Where before, we're not putting any oxygen in there.
And it's the agitation.
That makes algae grow.
When do the pond treatments end, in September? Or are we done now?
I-
I think he just did it today, didn't he?
I don't know, I haven't got to it.
I've
Yeah.
seen him.
I don't think he treats in October to like March, I don't think he treats.
That was one of my
And then he starts up again in the spring when when it's warm enough for algae to grow. But,
He treats it I think like from April through
Yeah.
September, I believe, every month, sometimes twice.
Well, let me talk to the guy down there at the pond place. Get all this information from him. Would it keep the oxygen, would keep it from the algae growing and all that, and I'll get back with you guys this week. That's all
So
right.
you feel like you're gonna get a better price quote than what, Pete has gotten in these two quotes that he?
No, I'm just gonna get the information from, since he's in that line of work. He was probably more an expert on all that kind of,
Plus it's still keeping it.
Yeah, but I'll
If we
ask him
can-
back.
If we can buy it off of them,
yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll table that. John goes and talks to them down there on 39 and Monrovia. All right, next item on the agenda, authorization for 3 people for all town business. What we're talking about with this is passwords for, or the ability to change codes for doors, access to our security cameras, so we don't run into the problems that we've been running into. Which, have we solved that issue now? That have we gotten?
We've both been trying.
I've got
Really?
access, but we haven't gotten any further with getting information on getting names added to, for instance, Verizon and whoever else to call in and change it, unless you did.
I can now.
You can, okay.
Okay,
We've made a little
Just
bit of headway.
Verizon though.
so you have access to Verizon phones,
Mhm.
authorization to change
And the
information there.
Mhm.
cameras is at Verizon too, right?
I don't know.
T-Mobile.
So.
T-Mobile cameras up.
We're paying an AT&T.
They're one of those.
I think
What, I think we ought to have a backup
AT&T,
for Jimmy in case something happens.
One at the parks are AT&T.
Matt's reply to me when I asked, he said, I just don't have time to meet with you right now.
Right, and that's what my concern with bringing this up is that we have, the town manager, town marshal, and then our clerk treasurer, who all have the ability to access that information and make changes, so that if one person's not available, we're not sitting here in the Stone Age going, oh, wonder what kinds of things can happen, right? That we can make changes even if one person's out of town or whatever, on vacation or admitted to ICU. I mean, I don't know what kinds of things happen, but things happen in life, and sometimes you're not available. And so, but we shouldn't have to sit here with our hands tied because one person's out of town.
Right.
And so that's my thought, is that we have a plan to make sure that in the future, once we get all this ironed out, that we're not stuck with just one person having access to this information. I don't think everybody needs access to this info, though. I think it should be, 3 specific personnel positions.
It needs maintained in some kind of secure document too.
Yes.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we have, and my thought process was, the clerk treasurer, the town marshal, and the town manager all have this ability to make changes, whether it's assigning a new code to the door at the kitchen, park, entranceway, or this entry level here, any of those kinds of things. The security cameras. I mean, we had the bathrooms vandalized at the park, a couple months ago, and it would have been great if we could have accessed the cameras to see who was in there when that happened. There's not cameras in the bathroom, but we have cameras on the door that people go. So we would have been able to know who went in there when at the time that the vandalism happened. We would have been able to find that, but.
And the park camera's been offline for 18 or 19 days, so it's not even working right now.
Yeah, and we have no way of even accessing it to get it.
I went down there the other day, and I was gonna try to figure out what was up with them, and there's, some hornet's nests living inside them.
Oh,
In the camera?
Yeah, up
Oh.
up in the,
Remember
You
the
just see
people
'em.
that you called that one time? That came and told all
Yeah.
of us?
The hornets that were living in the wall of that,
Well,
they were great.
They were in a table leg, right?
Yeah.
They had table legs, and Jerry got stung 5 times. Which,
yeah, I started to go up when I saw it staring down at me.
Yeah.
So I think though what's happened is either, since they're all off, either a breaker has been clicked off by mistake at some point, or has been thrown, or the router has gone offline, being unplugged or something. So they're all on a router. We just need to go down there. I got to get in.
Reset it.
We talked about it today,
Right.
but get down there and get things started back up, and I can do that either tomorrow or this weekend. If I get
You'll
it,
be home during the day tomorrow.
possibly.
Okay. All right, so we need to get a hold of the exterminator that we used to get rid of the hornets, wasps, whatever they are, and then we also need to get again the appropriate people access to the cameras, passwords, those kinds of things. For okay. Any questions from anybody else on the town council? All right.
Thomas, do you know if there's do you have a document or anything on a laptop back there that has?
It's all in there.
Pete, do you know if he's got anything on a
And
laptop?
Or in his phone.
Password?
I don't have anything on my laptops in here.
Okay,
I've not seen anything in the computers that I have access to.
all right.
Is that one at one point he told you that laptop that sits on the desk over there in the kind of your day room or whatever you guys call that,
Room, yeah.
that the details on how to change the codes on the doors were at least in there. Is that not
I'll look, I've never seen them.
okay? Because I know when Pete and I put in the new code, the new locks on the town garage and the food pantry, he took that laptop over there
And use that too.
and added everybody's codes that they needed to be in there, but that's how he switched all those over. All right, anything else on that subject? Next item on the agenda, next April is Hendricks County's 200th birthday. And so I was just kind of thinking of, having us put our heads together and plan some, things that could possibly go on in Clayton to help celebrate, that, kind of get our community, involved in something together, exciting to celebrate, those kinds of things. I mean, John was,
We could probably put
Around
a high
when-
school picture.
yeah.
Yeah, I was around then.
So it's April, I think April 18th is the official date or something like that. But they're just celebrating Hendricks County is celebrating their 200th anniversary. There's also going to be a total solar eclipse that month. So I don't know if those are, yeah, I don't know if those are happening in coincidence for a reason or what, but anyway, I'm gonna sell some house plants to people on the
We're
solar
putting
eclipse
online
day.
too for the major, we're seeing the full eclipse as well.
Yes. Which they do, like everybody's warning about traffic
Correct.
during that, so
I have,
you
yeah,
guys,
on my other job, I'm swamped with it as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
So I have some stuff I'll actually bring for the next meeting. I can bring
Okay.
some stuff to.
all right. Does anybody have any ideas on some things that they think would be great for Clayton to be involved in doing that month, or something we could think about at least?
Yeah, think about it.
Okay. Put up some flower displays and stuff. It's right up your alley. All right, well, we'll table that, but just be thinking about some things that we could come up with to help Clayton celebrate, participate in that. Next item on the agenda, policy on tipping. So last month it was brought up about the music in the park and us paying a tip to the food vendor. And so I was kind of curious about like what other towns do and what kinds of things, how that fits in with internal controls and what the State Board of Accounts looks at. So State Board of Accounts, when I reached out to them, they said if they audit us and they see that, what they're going to do is compare your tip that you gave to somebody with, well, what's your policy say about that tip? So, I mean, it kind of came off last month as like, don't tip ever, but really what the State Board of Accounts says you can, and other municipalities pay tips to food vendors and stuff. We just have to have it in writing on what we're gonna do. There's gonna be a policy. So I put together, policy, emailed, town council members, and Jenny printed them off for us here, and, so it's just my first draft. This doesn't have to be the one that we, adopt. It's just my, thought on this. Going along with internal controls policy, I'd kind of put in here not only about the tip, but just the budget for music in the park as a whole. And I know in the past, we've been strictly using money out of the police department's budget for this, correct, Jenny?
No, we've been using it out of, in the edit fund, there's a
Oh, okay.
block party, music in the park.
Gotcha, okay. So we'll just continue doing that. We just are gonna establish, here's the budget for music in the park or block party, however we wanna call that. And then we're gonna kind of break that budget down into categories. So you're gonna have category 1 would be the entertainment, what you're paying to the band or whoever, jugglers, whatever you're getting for entertainment. And then, yeah, category 2 would be your specific food. So what you're paying your food vendor for being at this event, and that will include the gratuity. And then category 3, because we are using trash cans, trash bags, cleanup, that kind of stuff, category 3 will be just any preparation or cleanup that goes along with that. I know this last week we had to spend quite a money working on the electricity, which unfortunately didn't actually help our cause. But if we have to do those kinds of things, I think it's good to have it come out of that specific budget that for the music in the park. And then a big part of this is I put in here an after action report, so to speak, a report on here's our music in the park. We had this budget, here's what we spent, and here's what's left over. And I think that just goes along with our internal controls. So any thoughts or questions, comments from the town council on that? If you want to look over one of these, like I said, we can go through revisions on this if we need to.
Looks
Thoughts?
good to me.
That? Go ahead.
No, sir, I think I like the proposal you made. I think it's pretty self-sufficient and explanatory.
I think the biggest part for our internal controls policy is that report afterwards if somebody comes and audits us, they'll be able to see, oh, okay, here's where all those parts of that budget went and what was spent on
Yeah.
who and where, whether it's, I thought the band this last week was really good too, by the way. Thanks for finding
them.
them.
in a pinch, man, because my other one canceled.
Understandably,
Now,
they had
I hope in
Family
October
emergency.
you could get that band back.
the Bergs or
Yeah, the
spontaneous combustion. Which one?
No, that bird.
The Bergs, B-Bergs. They were a good band.
They were good. I thought
Yeah.
they were really good. I actually thought the food truck was a nice.
That was a good
choice,
gesture,
too.
yeah.
I think people enjoyed that as well.
I think with twice now we didn't realize, but we probably planned for next year. The one when Hazelwood had the fish fry and a tractor pull, and I found out at ours Saturday night, Monrovia had an event going on, and now Danville and the Square had something going on. So that drew away from your personnel. So we just have to plan a little better, I guess.
I will tell you, if we had a sneak peek on our comprehensive plan and survey stuff, and a lot of people gave some really good feedback about events at the park, and they want to see more of that. So next year, we might have to start planning a little bit earlier so we can squeeze in
I
between
agree.
all the normal, which,
Advertise a little bit.
Advertising too, I
A
agree.
little bit longer.
right.
I agree.
People are huge fans of our events at the park and using that facility, and so Which, just interesting tidbit about our comprehensive plan, to piggyback on that, we've had over 157 responses to the survey, which is very good for a town this size. I mean, with, the fact that we have 370 sewer bills that go out for 157, almost half of that group has responded to the survey, giving us lots of good feedback on what they want to see happening in Clayton over the next 5-10 years. So it's very good. All right. Next item on the agenda, I got Pete Engrick up, our town manager. You got stuff for us.
Talking points.
Yeah.
What happened last meeting and this meeting. The Clayton Cafe parking's done. We doubled it by putting the angle parking in.
Really, you should call that Pennsylvania Street parking because it's
Yeah.
on
Okay, yeah.
town property, not Clayton Cafe property.
Well, yeah.
They can use it for cafe. They could use it for Pizza King across the
Right,
street. They
right.
could use it for.
The church.
And.
The church,
you know,
they can use
Pizza
it
King
for-
Painted his lines too after we
Oh,
did
nice.
it.
Very good. See what you started?
So that
A
rubbed
little
off, you know.
renovation. Yeah. Very good. So.
And then the tree that was giving us problems on Ohio and Cross, every time we had a windstorm, a limb break off, hit a car or something, that's gone. All the stop signs has been replaced in town, Old Inn, Gilbert Woods, except for 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue, as weather permits, changing some of the speed limit signs and stuff like that, so it's all the same. And you was talking about the outlets at the park. We got half of the outlets that supposedly is gonna continue working all the time now instead of
Yeah.
when you plug into 2 different boxes and it blows the breakers. So we have, 4 plug-ins instead of 8. And I was talking to Ron, he's the one that wired it. And he said when they talked to the bands back when they wired it, they wanted at least 6 outlets. So unless we fix it and get all 8 of them working again, I guess we could use a short extension cord with an adapter or whatever, because it's got 20 amp breakers on it. That should hold up. And that's about all I've got. We done talked about the rest of them I wrote down.
All right, on your stop signs and speed limit signs, those are all going up with the breakaway poles.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
And then, who's Ron? You said Ron did the wiring for the park.
Miranda,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. And Rob Miranda. All right. So as far as getting that, if we were to do the work to get all 8 back functional again for whatever events we're having at the
Right.
park there, what would need to change with that?
Well, John Todd told me, the electrician, that it was sharing 1 neutral instead of 2, so it needed 2. So we checked all the PVC, underground PVC, and we tried to pull wires. And over the years, I guess, with maybe moisture or water getting up in there, we couldn't budge them. So we may have to trench from that 1 box at the corner by the bathrooms over to the concrete slab to run new wires. So I'd have to find out what that would cost to do that, to get all 8 of them working.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or questions on that? I think with how popular these events at the park are, and the music in the park, and how much people are enjoying them, how much we rent this. I mean, even when we have private individuals rent that place, they use that for other events. So my own personal opinion is, let's try to figure out what it would take to restore that back to full functionality.
And Rob did say that he would try to find, he knows some people where we can get some wire kind of free of charge.
Also there, on that wiring, on those two spots, my thought of thinking, if we could get them out of the ground.
Oh,
if
those
you had
boxes?
Yeah, so they're post, put them on some kind of post or something where they're above the ground, where
Well,
you would
that-
have to open the box each time, climb down in there and plug stuff in.
That or, see, those are made to go flush with the ground,
I know,
but they're up high.
yeah,
Could possibly dig it, you know, cause they're up high, we could dig a trench and put
Yeah.
a 4-inch drain pipe and put gravel in there, so if the water does build up, it'll run off right away, it won't, you know, get up into the PVC and all that stuff, and I think that's the major problem, is moisture. That's caused the problems. Cause we put them
Yeah.
GFIs in there, and that's what they're for, and if you get any moisture on it, they're gonna trip.
yeah.
This wouldn't have anything to do with the cameras not working, power
No.
cameras, okay.
No.
Alright. Just spitballing.
You wish.
Right. That'd be nice if it was all related, wouldn't it? But, so I don't know. That's my opinion is, you know, see what it's gonna cost
Yeah.
to get it back to fully functioning and, you know, like John said, is there a way to weatherproof it better with a different design or, you know, something else that we can do with that? Just, like I said, as much as people love renting that
Right.
place, I mean, I don't think Jenny has an open day in the whole summer, from the first
Yeah.
weekend that it's open for people to rent. She rents that out
Yeah,
every week. So that's just
yeah,
kind of my thoughts, my opinion on that.
you can do that.
All right, any other questions for Pete? Okay, thank you, sir. George Burnett, you're up next, sir.
I was last.
You thought you were last?
I thought I was gonna be the last one, I'm usually the last, so, alright.
Oh, well, Thomas was late.
Okay, alright. So, let's see, got 4 items. So, last month we voted on me getting a pressure washer and that thing is awesome. So, thank you for letting me get it. If you wanna come down and use it, I'm happy to let you use it and I'll train you on it, so.
I noticed how clean your truck looks now.
Yes. Just the car wash that did that.
Just kidding. That would probably take the paint off
It
your
might take the
truck.
paint off. It takes that stuff off like it's nothing, so it might take the paint off, I don't know. The project for the I&I problem that we've had, we've got the prototype done. We tested it out this Saturday. So it's gonna take a picture, it's gonna upload it to the cloud, it's gonna send data back and everything. So we're ready to move to the next phase of it, which is, this was only a prototype. I was gonna bring it and show it, but it was too heavy to carry, so. I'll show you what the prototype looks like.
So, sideways. So that's looking inside, so that'll actually go point down toward the actual, so that's electronics and everything, and we'll point down and look at the insides of the,
And that's
of the
the
manhole.
new lid
This is a new
that'll,
lid, right,
Yeah.
so this
So-
is a plastic lid, so that the signal can get out of the manhole.
right.
Okay.
So, that's the guy that's gonna do
That
the work.
feeds through IR or something?
Yeah, it's gonna just, it's, through, same thing as the phones does. So it's gonna send it to the cloud,
And then it's gonna send it directly to my computer so I can get to it on the phone or wherever I'm at in real time. So, working with the company, what we wanna do is go ahead and actually make 5 actual units up, so we can actually put out in the field and test. So when we originally did it, we had okayed the budget, but I just kinda wanna make sure everybody's okay to go to phase 2, which is $15,000 to get the second phase going, which is to get to 5 units. So they sent Jenny an invoice and I think it's on the approval for tonight's minutes. So I'm good with it if everybody's okay with me moving forward.
You got the money in your budget for it. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we don't have the money, but you got it. So,
Still like the blessing, so, alright,
that-
move forward with it. Speaking of things, Banning Cold, I talked to Josh today. He completed the the survey for, you know, we were talking about having to move the line and everything, and he had an initial thought on it. Well, they completed the survey and it looks like it'll all fit within that scope of work, so we're gonna leave the old line where it's at. We're gonna move everything a little bit further to the north, to make it flow better. He said it's not as deep as they originally thought, which in the end will help us with cost, so we should have not as high as cost as was originally thinking. But he's got to go through, there's 4 landowners that's gonna be affected. And he said somewhere around 2,300, I said like 25, so around $10,000 is what he needs to approval on to go ahead and move forward to actually get the easement right-of-ways from those 4 people. Time he gets the paperwork done, we go and talk to the landowners, let them know what's actually happening, and move forward. So I said, I'll bring it up tonight. If we're good with it, then he'll move on. So,
And so then moving this, then Cynthia's garage is
We'll have to
not
move that.
gonna be in a
Right.
problem then?
yeah, we'll have to move your shed, you know, temporarily and wherever, but that's on runners, so that's portable, and we've talked about that, but we won't have to move the garage, correct?
And no other obstacles.
I don't believe so,
You couldn't move that garage anyhow unless you tore it
Several
down.
trees,
yeah,
several trees,
there's some trees, so that's.
my garden,
Yeah.
and a pet burial ground. Just saying, that's gonna be bad there.
Kitty, kitty, or,
Cats, dogs,
Oh, my.
duck hunters.
okay.
Well,
That would make,
have somebody come in and
Yeah.
do the voodoo deal on it.
Okay.
all right, so everybody okay?
Yeah.
Move forward, all right.
Yes,
And then,
please do.
need to go get some more classes to keep certified so I can keep treating the stuff, so it's okay to go ahead and take some classes and keep my license up. Well, Mindy would go too as well, so.
Good.
Yeah.
She keeps you honest.
She does. She keeps it going, so.
Thank you, Mindy.
All right.
Any, update on the schools?
No, they're slow as a turtle. Nothing's happening. Nothing. I mean, there's not a bit of, there's not been anything happening in the last 2 months up there. So, there's another meeting scheduled for, I think it's October the 4th, so I'll be going to that and I'll have an update for the next meeting. The gist of it is they're waiting on a generator. won't let them install or do anything until they actually have the generator on site. And the electricians don't wanna do their work until that's done, so it's a chicken and egg thing. Everybody's waiting on the generator.
Getting the generator, or?
Yeah, they had to order one
Okay, so it's
because
on
of
order.
COVID, because everything got backed up. So it's been pushed several months, almost, this was supposed to be done, actually, they were hoping to be done and hooked on by last April, this April. So we're how many months out? So, yeah. They were hoping maybe November, but the way it's looking, I don't know if it'll even be this year.
And our permit application has, they sent back the public access thing. I posted that on our
Good.
Facebook page for everybody to be able to
Okay.
go and read through our permit application.
Good.
It expires in February, so,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, they'll take those comments, and then if no major objections or anything, then they'll post it, and we'll be good to go. Yeah.
okay.
So,
Any other questions for George? All right,
thanks.
thank you, sir. All right, Chief Remender, you're up.
I just got a couple of things actually. One is y'all wanted to do 3 music in the parks. So Jenny, curious how much money we have left to do one, but tentatively we were looking at October 6th for the last music in the park. Looking at maybe like kind of a fall festival kind of theme. There's somebody locally here that I met at the last music in the park that has hay rides. So looking at maybe doing hay rides, pumpkins, apple cider, that kind of thing with a band. So tentatively looking at October 6th for that. Got a grant from the, I don't know if I ever say his name right, Gary Sisik, the Hollywood guy.
Yeah.
He gave us a free intoxilizer, so it saved us about $600 on an intoxilizer. So that was for an
Intoxilizer.
which is drunk driving enforcement.
I don't know anything about that.
So that was very nice of his organization to give that to us free. They, actually, the next thing I'm gonna work on with them is an AED. See if I can get an AED from them for free. The Gary
Sinise.
Gary Sinise.
Sinise, that's how you say it, Sinise.
Oh, Gary Sinise.
Gary
He
Sinise.
was in
S-I-N-I-S-E or,
Lieutenant Dan.
yeah, Lieutenant Dan, correct, correct.
And what else are you working on to get?
A AED,
Automated external defibrillator, AED.
Oh, okay.
which would be nice to have in our cars,
Yeah.
a car at least. What's that?
Oh,
Oh, you were joking, okay. Did you say that was for John?
Yeah,
I said she
Oh.
has to
it
spell
could
it.
be, yeah. I could use it.
The only thing I have left to put in the car is a computer, in the vehicle so we can log on to the system. That's the only thing left. Otherwise she'll be fully functional. All the lights and all that good stuff is in there. A lot of great compliments. Was down at the car show with it. Had a lot of folks, I get a lot of good feedback from it. It's a drastic difference from hard to tell that it's a police car to, there's no doubt you know this is a police car. Which is good. It's good, great visibility, which I believe deters crime a lot of times. Hopefully if somebody's driving through and they're thinking about stealing, they're seeing us, you know, and that deters that criminal element. The last thing I got is just this month, at the end of this month, we have state mandated training, and I'll have all my guys meeting the state mandated training by the end of the month. So that's it. Anybody got anything?
Okay. Questions for Chief Remender?
I know, one thing I will say, if everybody heard this weekend, there was a stabbing out at the truck stop, but a lot of times, I get people that call me all the time, the news publicize that as Clayton. However, that's county's jurisdiction, that's not ours, but,
I mean, their address is Clayton because the 46118 zip code,
Okay.
all of it says Clayton. So the news just sees that.
yeah.
So,
And then I get phone,
Right.
they burn me up.
Sure.
It's like, no call that, call the county. Yeah, so, yeah, that was an unfortunate incident, actually, so. yeah.
I have just one reminder. Our next meeting will be the last meeting before Halloween.
Okay,
So we'll need to know when we're doing it.
that's
Times
true,
and,
yes.
and
Do you all set that, or did Matt set that, or us? What is it?
I mean, in
fall
the
on
past,
this year?
yeah, we've always asked like, what is
just
your
what- okay.
recommendation on, you know, trick or treating and stuff?
Right.
What should be done?
It's a Tuesday night?
I usually put it on the sewer bill.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
usually I do the sewer bill, so I just decide.
Yeah,
There you go.
Hey.
Okay, you've been told.
Sounds
Just
good to
give
me.
me a call and I'll tell you. We usually put it on there like 6 to 8 or 6 to 8:30 or
8:30,
something
yeah,
like that.
I like that,
Okay.
I like that. And then I'll try to have as many guys, I'll have at least 2 or 3 of us out here for that evening as well.
Very good. Any other questions for Chief? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I'm out of new business on my agenda. Jenny, you have anything for the good of the order?
When is the paving gonna start for the, community crossing grant?
That's a very good question.
Will it be done this year?
Pete emailed the engineer firm about a meeting. We're supposed to have a meeting with Midwest Paving to just go over the preliminary details of what we're gonna do. And so far, we haven't heard back from them. So it's, I mean, but,
Get a little concerned about it.
I mean, I know there's a time when the weather starts to interfere. So I mean, if,
And then I wanted to ask you, were you gonna complete the opioid settlement form? Did you complete it, or do you want me to do it, cause it has to be in tomorrow?
I can do it.
Well, I can do it, I just wanted to know. I didn't
Yeah,
wanna do it
I know
if
we
I'd
had,
already
we had
done it.
talked about it and then we never
Right.
came up with an
I
answer, but you,
printed it out to make sure that, you know, I don't know what we're gonna do with that $20.12 that we got.
Well, and they didn't even really mean to send it to us since we get less
Well,
than
they sent us
$5,000.
70 They sent us 78, but I had to send 58 back.
Right.
So we got to $20.
Yeah. So because they accidentally sent it to us, but then,
So I
So,
wanted that.
we have-
I wanted to know about the pond treatments, got that answered.
well, if you've already looked at the form, then I'll just let you fill it out
Okay.
unless you run into issues where I need to be involved. That way we can get that done tomorrow and
Okay,
in the completed pile.
that's about all I have.
Okay. All right. Graham, did you have anything for us?
Nope, take a look at this reserve officer issue.
Thank you very much. And then you'll help us with the ordinance for the vacate
Sure.
thing also? Thanks. All right, Dave, you have anything for the group? John?
Yeah, I was thinking on Halloween, we used to at the park, on the night they trick or treated that way. The fire department and the town of Clayton would pass out treats at the park there. And also I talked, to the food vendor that was there Saturday night. He might be interested in coming down there Halloween and parking his truck, maybe people would stop and buy stuff. And, it's a tradition we used to do all the time, but we've got away from it. Well, I should have said it was the CCA, not the town of Clayton that done it.
Oh,
But, I didn't know if that's something we might think about doing again, because the Gilbert Woods people know how busy it gets down there. That's the Halloween special of the year.
Where all the good candy's at?
That's where it all goes, yeah. And while I'm on the park, that jack that we have in the storage room that we use to jack up the tables, those tables are heavy. It's basically wore out. That hydraulic keeps leaking on it, don't stay up. So I think we need to get another jack and improvise that thing again. It makes it, one person can move the tables, is what it boils down to. You're not straining yourself if you're trying to move the tables around.
1.5.
Yeah, yeah, we'll take a jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing I just thought about for next year, when I was at the car show Saturday, this was the third show they've had. It's getting better each year. And I was talking to Nick and them. It'd be nice if we could coincide his car show with, get vendors to put up little booths on 39 and close 39 like we used to when they had the festival here. And they can go around, come out by Leanne's flower shop for that period of time, for so many hours. Along with the car show, have something going on Main Street.
Just jumping back to your picnic table issue, could the same thing be accomplished with just coasters underneath they have those heavy duty coasters at Harbor Freight underneath each?
Yeah, you could,
But-
put wheels on them, or you could, it's on a tripod-like thing.
But you're gonna have to lift it up to put them on there, right?
Yeah, you'd have to.
With this, it's a floor jack.
Okay.
But it's got 4x4s, I think, is on there. And it fits right underneath the table. You slide it under there and you just jack it up with your foot. It lifts the table up about like this and you just move it around to where you want.
It's actually a motorcycle jack.
Okay. But, and drop it and your table's wherever you want. One person can do it. If you're gonna have to put them, it's gonna take two people to lift them up, put two in this end, two on that end. Then stop, lift it up again, take them off.
Could that possibly just be low on oil, hydraulic oil?
Well, we've had a problem with that the last couple years, it leaking out. I think there's a seal out. Yeah, it's probably low now.
I'll look at that.
Okay.
Because it's been replaced once already. The old jack, matter of fact, still in the shed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check that out. See.
All right. Well, if you guys want to work on that together and
Okay.
figure out,
Yeah.
what best needs to happen, that kind of thing, that would be.
Well, that's all I got.
So, Leanne, anything from you? Dawn, welcome.
Yeah.
Our newest council member. She's lived here a little over a year. Lives in Gilbert Woods. So, and Jenny's going to have a paper for you to fill out on, I talked about internal controls. You're gonna have to watch a little video from the State Board of Accounts saying you're not gonna steal all our money. And if you see anybody else stealing all our money, you'll report them. Those kinds of things. I think it's like a 20-minute video. It's not very long. It's a pretty short video. So you watch this video, you sign the paper, and she keeps it on file so that if we're ever audited, they say, okay, yeah, all the town council members know what internal controls are.
I have a W-4 for you, but I don't have it.
Uh-oh.
Please.
W-4. You will get paid.
Yeah.
Half of John's salary. Just kidding. Not really.
That's all right.
All right, so Pete, do we have people signed up on this form here?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
Your wife's one of them, first one on the list.
all right. Well,
Wanna start signing it out?
Please step forward, Jenny.
there you go. So name and address for the record from both of you.
Okay, I'm Virginia Gillespie. People call me Jenny, and I'm at 90 Adder Avenue here in Clayton.
Okay,
And I'm Mitch Bignell, and I am at 87 West Kentucky, Clayton.
excellent. All right. You have the floor.
Okay.
Okay. Well, essentially, Jenny and I got together to talk about what we could do during the holidays because we're both business owners here in the town. And we thought that it would be nice to do a little something with, I own the tea shop, and Jenny has the carriage business, and we thought, let's try to combine something like this to make it so, you know, that we can have some fun in town as well during the holidays, you know, Santa and hay rides and sleigh rides and all of that kind of fun. And then as we got to talking, we thought, well, why limit it just to our two businesses? Why not try to get more of the town involved and see if we can really keep this revitalization going. We hear every week in the tea room about how neat Clayton is, and nobody has, you know, known where Clayton is, and they come, they're like, oh my goodness, we are glad we're here. We're glad we have had the opportunity to come to your little, your small town. And so we wanted to kind of keep that going as well. So, Jenny, we had the idea, you want to share kind of
Yeah.
the idea?
So we thought about bringing Christmas in Clayton. And so that, I mean, we're in the really beginning stages of it. However, I can only speak for my business, and she can speak for hers, but I would love to see our carriage company down here doing rides, probably in front of Miss B's Teas. It's a nice centralized location. I would love to see maybe some lights in Gilbert Woods, if we could get that subdivision excited about dressing up their houses and maybe having a little light contest. It would make for a really unique experience in the carriage. So that's something that we've just kind of thrown around. I've talked to the ladies at the library, and we're hosting kind of a meetings of the mind on October 3rd for any local businesses that want to participate or just want to get an idea of what we're thinking and how they might be able to participate. So just a lot, even hearing about there used to be something here that people would do is exciting. And we'd love to see that regenerated. And we'd love to see how the town hall can support that. We talked about it would be really neat to have like a lighting of the, Clayton Christmas tree. And it could be as easy as just having lights come off your flagpole, and that we have, an entrance of Santa in the carriage. And then he goes a plug-in of the tree, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yay! And then kids can meet Santa here at the town hall and familiarize themselves with our area. So just some ideas, and I'm sure everybody, when we start talking about it, starts to think how you could be a piece of that pie, or how you could help facilitate that or add to the event. And that's kind of why we're here tonight, is to see how we can generate some buzz.
Yeah, and so, with that, we, the purpose that we came up with for having this, Christmas in Clayton, event would be to create a festive ambiance and to showcase our town as a family-friendly destination. And we would like to see activities, like Jenny said, about, maybe some house decorating contests, maybe even, some of the light poles in town, having a decorative light pole, and maybe, different groups could come, or different individuals, businesses, could come and sponsor a pole and decorate that pole and just make the town like really pretty during this time of the year. And we wanted to make sure that we are getting, other, people and businesses involved in this. And so we would like to talk to the schools and see if there's any clubs and organizations that would like to get involved as well. One of the other things that we would like to do is really, support our local food pantry, so maybe getting some of the businesses involved where they could, collect food for, the pantry during the holiday seasons. And so what we're thinking is we would like to do, a kickoff, event on, Black Friday. And so then that would be where we would take, start the tours and everything with the carriage rides. And then through the month of December, we would do, every Sunday, the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th, we would do carriage rides, through town as well. And so what we're wanting to see about, asking the town to get involved with is, like Jenny said, if we could, have some sort of a Christmas tree, at the town hall, that would be amazing to kind of bring that, to light. And then if there, would be a way to make sure that we have, electricity to the poles, so if someone wanted to decorate with lighting, that we could get that done. And then also allow visits, with Santa at the town hall. We would like to kind of promote the Letters to Santa, initiative that you already do. And so that would be kind of a fun thing to allow families to come and bring their letters, or bring the kids and have pictures with Santa. And then also just to permit the decorating of the light poles, and then encouraging the town, houses and businesses to get involved with the contest, and then also just supporting us through like the website and the social media, and, like the town sign would be what we are hoping that the town could kind of get on board with us and help us to bring more people and more awareness to our great town. So, thank you.
I think the Christmas tree out front, that's doable to me. The lights on the pole, that's gonna be creative, especially this short notice, because Duke Energy, when they put the new poles in, when they done the highway, they told us if any lights couldn't be put on the poles because of their poles, unless they hook the lights up and a union electrician plugs stuff up. But I don't know if nowadays with all these little solar panel lights and stuff, that wouldn't be the same as I think that's something we could get by with. I don't know if they make them for little Christmas lights or stuff, but
Maybe.
it might be
It's
something to look
definitely
into, I
worth
think.
investigating. We
So,
talked a little bit
Pete-
about it, yeah.
Pete, when you talked to Duke Energy about the electricity for Stevens Pond to run your little fountain that you want to do, what was their,
They was gonna put in a separate meter
on that outlet?
on that one pole.
Okay.
Just for that.
Okay, so you got a lot further than I did, because when I talked to one of the engineers at Duke Energy 2 years ago, they said, okay, we can do this, you just have to talk to so-and-so and they'll call you. And then they've never called, and I've called multiple times back. So can you get a hold of the person you talked to about that one and ask the same thing of, so the utility poles along our town business district that they already have electricity because they have a street light on them, would they be open to looking into putting an outlet that we could plug in a Christmas light of some kind?
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Actually, I was talking to somebody out in North Carolina.
It's still Duke Energy.
I have the name of a Duke engineer out of Danville that I can give you.
Okay.
Yeah, I got his card.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll get that aspect started, and then the making the flagpole, a Christmas tree, I don't know how complicated that would be. I know we did last year, we got an outlet finally put in outside the building so we could string Christmas lights on the outside, because we wanted to do that, but last year when we looked at it, there was no outlet outside. So an electrician did install an outlet, so we can put Christmas lights on the building now that we didn't used to be able to.
That'd be nice.
So we can at least start with that, but then, I don't know about the flagpole idea, but Pete can look into that, see what the hassle would be, or lack of hassle, I don't know how that would look, but, and then, we already do the mailbox, which was Leanne's idea a couple years ago, get that Santa's letters out there, and so we got that set up.
And the drama club does write back, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, my daycare brought them over, but we didn't know, or I would have had them put a return address, so that's good to know as well, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll continue that, and then, you know, we can look into, you know, the other aspects of it. I like the idea of, you know, the contest for Christmas lights and stuff. We have some pretty amazing Christmas lights that are put up in town already on some of these private residences, so.
That
they
used to be
might-
when the Clayton Community Association was going. Every year they had a Christmas tree light. They had first, second, third place they paid money
Oh,
for.
that's awesome, yeah.
Yeah. That dissolved, so that kind of stopped.
We have two big artificial Christmas trees in the basement that if they can do anything with them, I mean, the one is huge. What is it? Maybe like 10 feet tall.
Don't complain about it, Jen, it was free.
I know. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying I can't get it up the steps.
It might have been like a 9-foot tree.
It's 9 or 10
8 or
feet
9
tall,
foot.
it's huge. So I don't know if
Okay.
there's anything we could do with that out.
So if we can't plug them to the flagpole, we could put that outside and plug it in.
I think we should anyhow. We should have a tree
Okay.
out there.
All right, so these are all good ideas. We can certainly work towards those kinds of things. Anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, is there
or
anything on our
thoughts?
end that you have a question about?
You mentioned that you were going to have a meeting down at the library on October the 3rd, but you didn't say a time,
6:30.
Yeah.
PM.
The library wants to be involved, and so they're thinking about somehow doing like some read alouds for the children, books and stuff like that. So we'll just get some input from them on how they want to incorporate the library, and then we'll be passing information out so other local businesses can come as well and see how they can get involved as well.
Yes, and so,
Dave, can we put that on the, town,
Yeah, we can even make a
the
side
6:30?
kinda jump off.
And on their carriage rides on 3 Sundays, what time did that start?
So we haven't got that quite far. I
Oh.
mean, we'll finalize it. We just kind of wanted to get to see what, so we'd like it to be where it's dark enough for people to see the lights.
Oh, okay.
So we're just kind of in the beginning stages,
Yeah.
but ideally that's what we'd like.
Do we have power across the street in the parking lot yet? Any power?
No.
No.
Is there any kind of power to the sign, in the Clayton sign?
An outlet?
I think there's an outlet inside there somewhere.
You might be right. I haven't ever tried to do that, but, I mean, there's 220 amps going out there to it, but, I mean, I don't know what I don't know if it's where it's plugged in or if it's,
Hardwired.
yeah. So we'd have to check on that, but,
Those
And then-
can all be fixed, so.
anything else? Any other questions or thoughts?
Awesome, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, anybody else on the list, Pete?
You've been designated, Mr. Man.
Yeah, well, just because I can see over there.
Carol Reed, Bob Reed.
Okay, Carol Reed, Bob Reed, you have public comment for us.
Okay, my name's Carol Reed.
Please come, you got to come up to the podium.
Bob.
You gotta come up to the podium.
Do I gotta come up?
Yes, you do.
Oh, can't even get through.
That sounds like a,
We have some of our neighbors here.
Okay.
So name and address.
This makes it official when you come up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Name and address for the
I'll get
record.
you.
Yeah,
Anyway, this is Adriana, she's our neighbor too.
okay.
Adrian Brock, 4811 Ruth Elizabeth Drive.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we live on Martha Eunice. Okay, where we live, behind us is a house, and it's straight across from the park.
They're on Michigan Street.
On Michigan, I don't know the address, Julie has that.
We had it, what was it?
336?
Yes, I think. it was.
Someone moved in and the yard is full of junk.
Yeah.
And it just gets worse and worse and worse. Refrigerator, mattress,
Trash bags.
trash bags everywhere. It looks awful, and we have a nice backyard and we like to sit out and we have to look at that.
And there's now a camper on the property, and it appears there might be a family living inside it with young children.
And it's real close to our property line. And so, I don't know if that's allowed or not, but we'd like to get it stopped. It's, not very pretty.
There should be an ordinance on all the trash and everything there.
There is underneath.
Yeah.
Is there any ordinance on living in a camper?
There is an ordinance, if the vehicle does not exceed 32 feet in length, they are not allowed to stay there more than 7 nights in a row and no more than 14 days a year.
All right, it has definitely been a full week since the camper was put on the property, and we noticed people were
Yeah.
coming in and out in the mornings
Yeah.
and the evenings.
And we have no idea what they intend to do for sewer or water. Our concern too is we hope that sewer doesn't go into the drainage ditch, which goes into the pond.
Yeah,
Something else to watch.
yeah.
Yeah, we have an ordinance, I just had it up here, now I can't find it, about debris and matters that you just mentioned in the yard. And I think there's a process where he gets this.
So I mean, all the ordinances are subject to, the town manager sends a letter saying this is the ordinance, and then gives them, they have time to respond to it. If our town manager sends them a letter and we don't hear back from them, he sends a second letter certified to get a signature that they got the letter. And then there's again a time frame. I think it's 14 days in our ordinance. Then, so each step does take time. So that's, just part of the rule process. Nothing's gonna happen tomorrow. But we've heard your concerns. We do have ordinances that address these things. Pete, as our town manager, will, follow the ordinance. So, it's just one of those process things that takes a lot of patience.
Is that for the
because,
junk and the trailer or both or?
well, yeah, we have an ordinance that addresses both of the issues that you brought up.
Yeah.
And so Pete will, make sure that he's got all the information he needs to make an informed, presentation of a letter to this homeowner, and send them that letter and say, these are the ordinances and this is a violation, and then give them time to respond, and then what the solution is going to be to that, and those kinds of things. So
So if they don't comply, what happens?
the ordinance spells all those things out, so there are, again, timeframes, and then there initially can be fines involved, and fines can escalate. So if it doesn't, get fixed after the first, time period involved, then the, fines go up, and that kind of thing. I mean, unfortunately, it's not something we can't just, rush onto a private property and try to fix it ourselves. I mean, your private property is your property, and we have limits to what we can do there. But we have ordinances that try to address these kinds of things and try to, hopefully get a community to work together and, be a place that everybody likes to be. And if you,
There's pictures somewhere.
I sent them to Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got them on my phone.
Yeah. And also on that, I don't see why this, talk to them also. If you want to, I'd go, and inform them that we do have ordinances on all this. They may move it, I'm not guarantee they will or not, but you explain to them, we may not have to go all them steps. That would be the best scenario.
They have
Something.
not been friendly to
They're new-
approach here recently.
Well, I don't think they're the happiest people in the world, but that's, but, you know, we'll get it solved one way or another, cause I know the man that used to live there, John Mills, at times.
Oh, they would just be so upset.
Yeah, but,
Do all the letters have to go out certified, or just the second one?
I mean, you could start out with your first letter being certified. There's nothing that says you can't
Well, I
do that.
I was just thinking it probably should, and that way you know they got it.
Yeah, that's fine. You,
Is the
I mean,
inhabitant the owner or a renter?
They're owners,
Owners, it appears.
Yeah, they are.
yeah.
all right. Well, thank you for coming and presenting to us. And like I said, Pete will, you know, if you guys have been in contact with Pete at all, you know he'll.
yeah.
Okay. So he'll get, you know, the process moving. Like I said, it's definitely not going to be something that gets fixed tomorrow. But he will get started on, you know,
Like John said, hopefully that'll speed the process up.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can sit down now. Anyone else on there, Pete? No.
Okay. I will ask for a consensus to adjourn.
Yay.
All right.